How's it going, everybody? This is just going to be actually it's going to be a long one. I've tried to do this 3 or 4 times already, and I either talk too much and I run out of space and run out of battery and everything. So I'm going to do my best to just kind of move along as fast as I can without my ADD kicking in and just kind of going into a big ramble. But here's a big black wild cherry tree that some birds pooped out along my fence line. I got a lot of that stuff here. I got a lot of blackberries up there. I'm going to save this whole section for another video. And I have wild, not wild, but a bunch of apple seedlings I've planted along the fence line from here all the way to the road. My Johnny Appleseed fence. And I got a bunch of wild citrus, I meant to say, along here. There's an autumn olive that I dug up, transplanted. Here's one of the apple seedlings. Those are from the antique apple that I did a video about. This is an Anna apple tree. A lot of these are just from this year. This is all a lot of newer stuff. Here's some wild citrus. Frost got most of these, but they're all growing back. You can see that new growth down there. There's one here too. Poncirus trifoliata. Here's some wild grapes coming in all along my fence, going up the fence right there. And some black cherries that the birds do a great job planting stuff all along the fence. I just need to give them some more stuff to plant, some more variety. Some berries that they like, right? Huh? Some autumn olive, I'm sure they'll like that. I got tons of that stuff now. I didn't decide to pay a bunch of money for it. I mean, it's just $20 a plant. I found a road down the street. A bunch more black cherries all along the post. See? Check this out, guys. Look at this. Here's how it works. There's some poop right there. And look at that, black cherry seedlings. All along here. Here's a big patch of wild black raspberries with some huge canes. And they just kind of umbrella down along my apple seedling right here. Here's a peach I planted this year too. One that was potted from a nursery. Bella, Georgia. Gooseberry is going to go here. I just haven't got it in the ground. I got like 5 of these spread out across the yard right now. And I think I put a plum seedling in here. Another apple seedling, wild citrus. What I got over here? Oh yeah, I got a mulberry cutting that's actually growing. I took some cuttings off of my wild mulberry tree on the other side that the birds planted and put it here, and it's growing. So I love it. It's going to be awesome. It's got a lot of good fruit on it this year too. I'll show you. Yeah, I got apple seedlings and wild citrus over here. Here's a bunch of wild plum that I dug up and transplanted. Only about half of them are doing good. This is one that really isn't doing too good. Here's a bunch of volunteer blackberries. And you can see I just kind of threw some grass clippings in here and a bunch of wood chips and stuff. And planted a wild citrus right there in the middle. I don't know if you guys can even see that guy. Wild citrus right here. And look at these blackberry canes. They're loving it. That'll be next year's fruit. So this whole spot in here you can see are all blackberry canes. And darn groundhog lives right down here in this hole. And he's got a little burrow over to this spot right over here. And black cherry right here. And he's been eating all my fruit trees. He's got to go. I've shot him with the BB gun a whole bunch. He's not getting a hint. Look at this. This thing was loaded. He's taking branches. There's like 3 peaches that he's done that to. And 2 or 3 plums also too. Some wild grapes that produce a bunch of fruit. I got wild citrus growing all along this fence right here. Here's one of the plums that he's got a hold of. And I caught him doing it yesterday. He actually pulls the branch down, this thing, all the way to him and strips this off. Cut the top leader off of this one and This thing was full. You can see the branches that were chewed off, like right here. Here's a hazelnut. Black Tartarian cherry. I even got my cherry tree. I'm messing these branches all up. All the leaves here are all gone. Everything he couldn't reach. And, here's a spice bush. I planted a ton of these and just about everyone's growing, doing good, leafing out. Here's another spice bush right here. Wineberry. You can see the different colored leaves in there. Delicious red fruit. Now you see where these markers are. This is stuff that I still haven't planted yet. I just got an order of mulberries in, about 12 of them, and some pawpaws that are pretty much dead. They shipped me dead pawpaw seedlings, so I'm going to get a hold of them about that. But a couple mulberries here. I might do a red Japanese maple or something. For shiitake mushrooms, here's a blueberry. Another spice bush. Another spice bush. Spice bush. My spice bush patch over here, huh? And wild citrus. That kind of died, but it's growing back here. And a bunch of amaranth that was growing in the wood chips where the chickens are, and the seeds came with the mulch. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Here's a pear tree that's been kind of struggling. I took a lot of these dead side branches off. It's a kefir pear. But since I've done that, I've got a lot of good new growth coming in. So I'm pretty happy. I know I got a ton of stuff over here. I think I got some more wineberries and wild citrus. Here's an autumn olive. These things are pretty cool here too. These little torch flower spikes, kind of useless. Well, I'm going to dig these up and actually put some grapes over here and some citrus right here along the side of this chicken coop. I got a big old 8-foot tall plum tree. Blueberry. This is all new stuff from this year. And neighbor's calling the dog. Here's a big open patch. I don't know. I've been throwing seeds and mixed seeds in here, and I think a bunch of amaranth and sunflowers are going to pop up over here. And here's another Chickasaw plum that was stripped of everything. It's a numbers game though. I'm sure I'll still get growth on it this year. Just gotta get. There we go. It's a gooseberry, red gooseberry. Blueberry, wineberry, another peach that got chewed up by him, jostaberry right here, which is a gooseberry currant cross, hazelnut tree, here is a purple leaf plum. And there's a whole bunch of citrus, wild citrus. I planted blueberry. Here's the nasty peach plum tree. This thing was half dead, gnarly branches going in all different directions. Half of them were canker. I mean, I left this new, younger growth that wanted to go straight up these 3 branches, and I got a bunch of flowers and fruit. And I left this thing that's still kind of messed up, but it was going up. And you can see right here, it's like a big elephant trunk. This is what grafted fruit trees do. There's the rootstock, and here's the graft. This tree is eventually going to die and kill itself off, and I'm going to take all the fruit from this and replant it around it, and hopefully get some healthier trees that aren't messed with too much. They'll live a lot longer. Alright, and black raspberry. Here's another peach that was stripped by the groundhog. blueberry. And I got a big old Gala apple I planted last year, big potted one. Didn't flower this year, I'm glad, it's going to focus on growth. Wild citrus, blueberry, some wineberries. There's a ton of vetch and clover in here too, mixed in. There's another jostaberry. And there's a dead end pathway, so I'm going to go up around this way. Here's a peach I planted. This is my big old lettuce patch right here. Bunch of wild lettuce, chicory, dandelion. Here's a big peach tree. Look at that growth just from this year. Japanese maple. Gooseberry. Peach. Red raspberry. Here's one Chickasaw plum that hasn't been touched that they all look like. They all look like this, guys. They were big and full and healthy. And some raspberries, gooseberry I haven't gotten around, hazelnut, and I just showed you that peach. Goji berry. Apricot I planted a year ago that was half dead, and this is going to be replaced. It's not liking it here. There's that red maple. Here's a wild grape I gave a stick to. Let it grow up. I'm going to let it train up this peach tree right here. Blueberry. Another Gala apple. Raspberry. Mulberry growing up from some roots. Another gooseberry. Hazelnut. Red raspberry. Peach. I don't know if I showed that one to you or not. Here's a wineberry too. Planted a Japanese maple seedling I dug up right here. In between this Virginia creeper, there's a big rock right here, but he likes it there. There's an autumn olive. Another Japanese maple. This one might die. Here's maple tree that I've been using for chop and drop, and I figured let's see if I can get it to grow all gnarly, and I'll put like a Buddha statue in there or something like that. Figured that'd be cool. Some wild citrus, mulberry that died, wineberry. I got an autumn olive right here. There's an autumn olive. I'm gonna save all this for another video, so yeah, that's all of that. That's just part one of 4. So stay tuned, guys. I'll close it with a gooseberry, a blueberry. I'm sorry, goji berry I planted right here. Something's dying, and then a blue.